everyone. This is Caroline with the Expat Interviews, Thriving Abroad, where we go all over the globe to find really, really cool and amazing people that are living their best life abroad. And that's what it's all about, living and thriving abroad. And today I'm excited because I have a young lady who is just living her best life right now. And when you hear just how good she's having it, you're going to be packing your bags tomorrow to go somewhere and live your best life too. Welcome, Beverly. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Carolyn. It is my pleasure, and I consider it an honor to meet you. And thank you for all you do, and thank you for the opportunity. This is absolutely great. I was looking forward to it.
Oh, thank you. Me too. So let's get into your story, because you have a special story. You are living in beautiful, gorgeous Baja, California. And we all hear about Baja, California. We see them in magazines. We hear people going, the rich, the famous, the fabulous, all these glam folks that it's the millionaire's playground. But you're, living a life that does not mirror that. So tell us a little bit about where you're from originally.
Okay, thank you so much. Yes, currently I'm living in Baja, California Sur. There are two parts to Baja: the Baja, California, which is basically Southern California, basically. And then there's Baja, California Sur, which is the southernmost tip of that, right by the Sea of Cortez. It's the opposite side of the Pacific Ocean. I'm originally from Chicago, South Side.
Wow, South Side. Okay.
South side of Chicago, we have the reputation for being very direct people and very honest to a fault. So all of that describes me perfectly. On the other hand of that, am a lifelong educator. So I've been teaching for 1,000 years, and I've got probably 2,000 or whatever students all of my lifetime. But so I'm not retired. I am pre-tired, and I'm practicing my retirement by working online as a teacher of English. But I do that abroad. So I work part-time and live my best life full-time.
So you taught in Chicago, in the Chicago public education system?
It was a town right outside of Chicago, but I grew up. I am a product of the Chicago public system, but I have taught in the Chicagoland metropolitan area, as well as in Texas, as well as in Louisiana. So I have licenses, a lifetime license out of Texas, but I have teacher's licenses in Chicago and in Louisiana.
So here you are now in this beautiful place. How did you get there? I know this wasn't your first stop in Mexico, but what led you to wake up one day and say, I'm off to Mexico?
That's a good question. What led me to wake up and say that, Well, to make a long story, I'll just say that one day, Carolyn, I was on my summer vacation, as teachers do, thinking, oh, there must be a better way for me to de-stress because teaching is stressful. And I gave myself permission to go to Guadalajara for 30 days and take a face-to-face TEFL course just to add to my teaching repertoire and, thinking that this is something I could use later when I retire. And during that process, Mexico grew on me. And then I realized that I wanted to explore more. I'll put it like that. So on my way back home, I'll never forget this, because I was on the plane dreading going back to my 9 to 5. And I just heard a voice talking to me saying, why would you rush back to stress? On the plane. So I started journaling to myself, saying, why am I doing this? Why I've got knots in my stomach returning home. That's not a good sign. And so that led me to resign from my full-time position and to return back to Mexico to accept another position part-time and give myself permission to do something different and to explore other options, which we all have. It just depends on your skills and how you want to use them. But what led me here, I was in Comitán at first, face-to-face school, which hired me a language school. And, during this lockdown, during that era from 2019, 2020, 2021, we all broke out of lockdown and went on vacation. And that led me to Cancun, Isla Mujeres, Playa del Carmen, Tulum, Cozumel. And I thought, ooh, girl, life should be a beach. You work from home now. You should be able to walk to the beach. And that's when I started researching. But my personality, Carolyn, is to do the opposite of what everyone else is doing. So I explored this Western coast over here and discovered Baja.
Yeah.
and saw the beautiful images about the sea and the sunsets, and just started researching maybe a Airbnb or a hotel or an apartment. And the latter is what I found. I found an apartment to rent. I couldn't believe that. So I was like, okay, it's time to go then, because it's working out that I have an apartment, a better internet and all of that. So that's what led me to Baja California Sur.
And it's really nice to hear. I was especially anxious to talk with you because you are in a part of the country that we don't hear, that's not the first place that most people think about when they want to come. There is quite a bit, but as I mentioned in the introduction, it's, people just think of it, oh, only rich people go there, only the millionaires with yachts, show up in Baja. But it's actually a really very cultural, thriving part of the country, and just maybe overlooked a lot. Would you say?
I agree. And all of what you said about the yachts and, the jet set, that doesn't apply to me, but you can live close to that. For example, Baja California Sur, I'm in La Paz, which is the capital of Baja California Sur. And most people do come here, but they go to Cabo San Lucas. That's the playground of the rich,
right?
And so, again, it's about 2 hours from here. People can come here and then go visit there or go to someplace else. So that's the sister, or I should say La Paz is the sister of Cabo San Lucas. But people do come to La Paz maybe to look at the whales, or if they have a yacht, like you said, or to shop on the Malecon, but they don't stay very long. There are some beautiful beaches here, I just have to say, but it's not the place that people come to stay. They might stay 2 or 3 days, but on their way to Cabo San Lucas.
How long have you been there now?
Oh my good, a little over 3 months, just a little over 3 months. And I absolutely love it because on my break, I am a coffeeholic, so I frequent cafes, which is, that's the name of my channel. But if I can either be found in a cafe or walking on the Malecon, soaking up the beach vibe, I'm getting some sunshine. And this place, both Baja and Baja California Sur, is known for the sunsets at night. It's just, I never get tired of that. Being a person from the south side of Chicago, to see the mountains and to see the sunset never ever gets old.
Not for nothing, but a lot of people don't really know Mexico. That this country has so many landscapes. I mean, you could go in skiing, you can find the desert, you can find rainforest, beaches. It's just such a diverse country. And I was just thinking recently, Baja is going to be like my vacation spot, like you go to Monaco or Saint-Tropez, like I'm so going to be going to Baja California for my vacations. I want to just quickly talk to you about something that a lot of people are those that are contemplating a life abroad, how am I going to work? How, what am I going to do? And you
Yes.
mentioned that you took the TEFL program. Could you just talk a little bit about that so people
Oh,
that are
girl.
not familiar with it?
Yes. Again, as a teacher, I thought, well, I'll retire in about 4 or 5 years. That was about 2 years ago. But I was so under stress. So I saw this ad, you can get paid to teach English. You can get paid to travel. What? I need more. And the more I heard about this, the more I thought, oh, this is speaking to. Put it this way, vacations are dangerous because that's when I really get creative about what I want to do, right? So my vacation is when I really give myself permission. So this teaching English as a foreign language is just certification that every person who teaches English, either face-to-face abroad or online, is required to take. So I could either get a 1 degree in the States, which certifies me to go up a couple of minutes to pay and still teach in the States, or I could get this degree that makes me in demand worldwide. That's what a TEFL degree does. And so, and then once you finish your certification, depending on which company you actually register with, usually job placement is guaranteed. That's also what you're paying for. So, and that's exactly what happened to me before I even completed the program. I had several job offers, and it was up to me whether I wanted to take them or not. So that's what allowed me to see that I could do things differently. And if it doesn't work out, I can go back home. So,
do you need to have a college degree to take the TEFL?
Yes and no. Depending on what companies you work for, once you get that certification, you're considered an independent contractor, which is what I am. There are some contracts or some programs that require a degree. My most recent upload shows that there are some places in the world where you can teach English as long as you have a TEFL. No college degree is required. So yes and no, it just depends on which companies you work for or which contract you get. So there's ways to get it done. The main qualification is being a native speaker of English. That's your main qualification. If you have a degree such as myself, it just gives you more options, put it that way. But if you don't have a degree, there are still ways that you can teach English abroad.
That's good to know, because many people do have that dilemma. What do I do? When I quit my job, my 9 to 5, and move abroad or live abroad. So the TEFL kind of they pretty much, depending, you said, on the program, they guarantee that they'll place you with a school. It doesn't have to be Mexico, right? It's
No.
International, any
international. Yes.
Do you see that they have a large list? I mean, or does it just depend on the country of schools?
Okay, let me put it this way. And I guess I should preface it by saying this, Carolyn. Those of us who speak English, we're born native speakers, have no idea how much in demand English is. It is the language of money. It is the language of business. And every country in the world wants to learn English. I'll put it this way. I am learning Spanish, and I have broken Spanish at this point. I am not fluent, but that's one of my goals. But I'm amazed by how many people speak English here. Why? Because English and their native language is required in school here. And that is the case in most countries, where English is required in addition to your language, because they expect you, if you have the capability, to help their country make money. English is the language of money. So that puts any person who wants to do that in demand. But if you don't want to teach English, maybe you don't have to teach English just to come to Mexico. Maybe you are in demand for another skill. And that's what people have to do, is figure out, what am I capable of doing and how can I make it work but in a non-traditional manner. And if anything this pandemic has taught us is that we have to be willing to change.
Yep.
Change is good.
Yep. Be creative.
Yes.
Go deep within and get those talents out of the closet.
Yes. Dust them off. Dust them off.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're from Chicago, and there is a large Mexican community in Chicago. But what would you say culturally the difference for you after maybe bumping into Mexicans in Chicago and actually living amongst them now? Do you feel differently? I mean, someone who's never had an experience for let's say with the Mexican culture, do you feel a need now to really dig into the culture more, or do you feel like a little bit about Mexico, or is it different from what you knew before you got?
I mean, this is different for me. I was in Chicago pre-university years. We moved after my mother remarried. And so I had more experience bumping into Mexicans in Texas, right? And working amongst other Hispanics as professionals, as friends, colleagues, and, I should have taken the opportunity of one of my friends at that time, maybe 12 years prescient, that said, Beverly, you're going to need Spanish one day. And I brushed it off. And how right she was. That was prophetic for me. So the experience for me now is different in the fact that I am in full learner mode. That 30 days of taking the course allowed me to see the beauty and to fall in love with something that was foreign to me originally. So now it's like being in a whole new world, literally, and just taking the opportunity to learn. So I put my learner glasses. It's like I'm a student in a brand new classroom, literally in another part of the world. And that's what's exciting to me. I think that keeps you young as well, those of us that are a certain age, to learn something and keep our mind open to other ways of doing things. If it's not, if I go to the grocery store and I can't find my quote unquote favorite American, well, what is another Mexican equivalent? Well, let me try this. Usually it's better, but better tasting. But that's where my mind is now. What is the other way that I can do this and learn and get help that way? And it is proving to be a godsend to keep my mind open to new things, because all of it is new. This is a new experience for me. And 2 years now, a little over 2 years, I've lived in Mexico. No regrets, but I've learned so much. I have learned so much.
That is awesome. And I think, that's at the end of the day, that's what living abroad is all about. I talk to many people all the time, and a lot of people are under the perception that, oh, well, if I leave, I can never go back home, or, I've just got to adapt to this one place, or what have you. And they see it as such a difficult adjustment, whereas, you're describing it as such a beautiful experience that, just kind of being in another culture. And I want to ask you for, you had that small voice, talk to you one time and say, look, you need to do something different. What advice do you give to other people that struggle with that voice?
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Okay, let me show you something. First of all, remember, I was on the plane and I had a notebook with me. So when I heard that small voice, I'm on the plane and I just started writing. I keep a journal so that I don't stress about stuff. I put it down and answers will come to you. But number one, needs versus wants. I won't go into my story about living in an RV to get rid of stuff and be ready to move. But okay, get rid of stuff, write everything down, know what you need, know what you want. There's a difference between wanting something and needing something. And when you know what makes you tick, that's what you focus on, because what you focus on expands. My focus was on doing what was best for my health and my life, which was not stressing. And that's why my stomach was in knots coming back to a job that I had done for over 25 years at the highest level I could. Do you see what I'm saying? And now I work on my time at the highest level. So writing it down, knowing your needs and wants, getting rid of stuff you don't need, doing lots of research because nothing happens overnight, and then being open to change. I think that's what we're learning now as things change literally we never know when we wake up what's going on next. We just have to look and adjust, and we have to adjust quickly. I'll tell you a quick story, Carolyn. You know, at one time I worked most of my schedule in China. Well, in 2021, for reasons that are probably being shown in current events, China decided, no, we do not want our children being taught English by English speakers in the United States. If your children are learning English and they live in China, you need to find a Chinese English speaker. That was very foreign. But instead of me stressing, okay, let's move on. I see where this is going. Let me pivot and find another country, which is what I did. Do you see what I'm saying? So things change, and we have to be ready when they change. And then we have to embrace and accommodate. Here, I have to embrace, you know, when I leave my house, if I need to know something, I have to either figure out how to say it and listen as well as I can, because, you know, no sisters or brothers are going to walk around and help me out. So I have to adjust because I'm in their part of the world and I need their help sometimes, you know, so I do whatever it takes so we can meet in the middle. And people, if I make a mistake, laugh, and then they'll tell me corrections, and I always say, thank you, you know, thank you, you know. But it's just adapting to change, and then keeping a list and staying positive. I don't know if that made sense or not.
That's great advice. I think that's great advice. You have started a YouTube channel and you're documenting your life, which I think is such a, I don't know, maybe if it's therapeutic for some people, but, you know, just doing video documentations. And I guess too, it depends on what you're documenting, but I feel like it's really helpful to others, you know, that for them to see the struggles, because life abroad, you know, it's not all, you know, wonderful experiences. Sometimes we do have some negative, but your channel is very fun. And I want people to tune in. Tell us a little bit about how you got started with your YouTube. Did you just decide to tell the world about how did it happen?
Girl, honey, at the time, pre-pandemic, pre-moving to Mexico, again, thinking outside the box, thinking that I'm going to set myself up in practice for retirement, I gave away everything to live in an RV that I paid cash for, right? Just to teach myself how to downsize and go within and think. And that was like a very nice little capsule. My family was so worried about me that if at the suggestion of two beloved family members, well, Beverly, not a lot of people are doing what you were doing. And I could already see what they were thinking. We're worried about you. Can you please show us how you're doing? No problem. And I'm serious. My very first video, I'm saying, this is my first video and this is my camper. Let's go in unpolished, just I don't know heck. But I didn't want them to take my word for it. I want you to see that I am okay. Again, coming to Mexico, you going where? I don't want you to hear about Mexico. You can look and see that I'm thriving. Now, this many years later, applause, applause after pandemic, where I believe I'm doing better than some of these people that were concerned, right? And they can see, wow, now we see. Well, I couldn't tell you, but I can show you better than I can tell you. So it started at a family's request and it grew from there, you know, sharing friends. Do you have a YouTube? Well, let me see what you're doing. That's how it started. So that's my intention, is just to share. Am I an expert? No, but I can share what my experience is. And if it helps somebody, great. And maybe we can exchange ideas. But that's how it started with family.
That is awesome. And what's the name of your channel? What do you call it?
Miles in Coffee, because coffee, I'm a coffee addict. So everywhere I go, I'm looking for coffee. And at that time, miles down the road was travel oriented. The name of my RV, which is at the top of my channel, was Miles. Miles and Coffee is what made me dream while I was still in the classroom stressed out. And I will never get rid of that picture because that's where it started.
Wow. So what about the Mexican coffee? How do you feel about the coffee?
What? Wait a minute. Please hold that thought. I got to show you. Hold on. Girl, I'm so glad you asked because I was in Chiapas, and Chiapas is the coffee capital of Mexico. It is the best coffee. And I don't drink the stuff on the shelf that I used to think was coffee. That's chemicals. I drink organic coffee, fresh from the plantations. And so I was glad when I came to Baja and found that here they have a company called Big Sur in La Paz, as you can see, Baja California Sur. And this is coffee from Chiapas, the beans. And one of the ladies that I frequent all the time has, and when I saw it on the shelf, I had a fit. And she grinds the beans for me, and I buy this a bag at a time. But yeah, it's really good coffee. And then I took a training. I asked another lady when I was in Chiapas, would you mind if I do a video? And I invited friends, and she showed us a coffee tasting, the different ways to brew coffee, and why some people get sick from coffee. It's the chemicals. It's not the coffee. Coffee I can drink all day, no buzz, no problem, right? Because it's grown and it's actually from the mountains. This is organic product. It's not the chemicals that we usually associate with coffee.
That's interesting. Are you going to be doing some videos? And I'm going to put the link below to your YouTube channel. Are you going to be doing videos on coffee so that we can kind of see your coffee adventures?
Usually I'm taping a video from a cafe usually.
Okay,
I've learned to look, but yeah, yes, I'll say yes to that because again, it started in the classroom when I used to dream of taking a break. And so now I can afford a luxury of a 2-hour break every day for coffee.
That's awesome. It has been such a pleasure to share with you. I'm so excited we had an opportunity to connect, and I would love for people to connect with you and subscribe to your channel and just check out life in Baja. You know, Baja is still a new kid on the block as far as a lot of people that are changing up, and maybe you'll bring some folks over that way and they can check out the scene and see how life evolves in Baja. But Beverly, thank you so much. I many blessings to you, and your journey is just kind of starting in Mexico, but I wish you all the best, and we look forward to chatting with you again real soon.
Thank you so much. Likewise, I really, really appreciate it. It's been wonderful.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.